This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, my name is Deborah Bird. I'm a certified hypnotherapist and health coach, and I have a client here with me today. Who do we have here today?
My name is Laura.
Hi, Laura. And what did you come to hypnosis for?
I have issues with anxiety related both to work and at home. I tend to overthink most aspects of my life. I also have issues with just food in general, but I tend to overeat and needed help kind of getting in line with portion control and exercise.
Good. And so have you and I ever met physically face to face?
No, we haven't.
Okay. So all these sessions were online. And what do you do for a living? Just a little bit about what you do, maybe one sentence.
Sure. I'm a geologist is my degree, but I manage projects for an engineering company.
Wonderful. It helps people just get a feel for who you are, I think, a little bit. So anyway, let's start with the eating issues. What would you say? Why don't you just tell us a little bit more in detail about that?
So as far as the eating issues, I felt like I had a problem with binge eating where and it was a few times a week. I would, mainly at night, I would break into the fridge and eat all the frozen waffles. And if there was a box of cereal, I would go through that. And I would go until I physically felt way past full. I couldn't stop. And so that's what I came with. Yeah.
And what was the intensity level of that? Why don't you put a number on it when it started? And what do you think the number is on that now in terms of, we always rate everything 10 high, 1 low in my work. And so why don't you put an intensity number on that for when you started? And what do you think it is now?
Sure. So I think I probably would have rated it as a 9 or a 10 because I had no control. It wasn't a huge volume of food, but I couldn't stop myself. And yeah. And so now after the hypnotherapy sessions, I think I'm like at a 1. It's not an issue. The foods that we included in the program, I don't touch. And yeah, it's amazing. 1 or even a 0. It's just a non-issue now.
So for some of those things, we did something called aversion therapy. We don't need to go into detail about that, but it's a specific protocol that you and I did together. How powerful or weak do you think that therapy was for you?
So it was extremely powerful. I was doubtful going into it, but I haven't touched, we included white grains, cereal, which is a weakness, sugar cereals, and then waffles, which are the frozen, waffles from the fridge. And I haven't touched anything related to that, like in over a month. And it's not like yeah, and there's no interest. And even the thought of if I had to eat it, I don't necessarily remember exactly, the disgust from the aversion, but yet there's no interest whatsoever in touching any of that still.
Well, you brought up an interesting point, your doubt. So let me ask you about that before we started any of this. What was your certainty or your uncertainty that hypnosis would have any effect at all, or and you can just be completely honest about that.
Sure. So I'm as a scientist / engineer type, I'm very logical and tend to need the facts, and I'm usually doubtful about things like this, although I'm open. I mean, I've done other things like acupuncture, etc., but hypnotherapy was like a Las Vegas trick. But I was interested, and I needed help, and nothing else had really worked. And so, but yeah, I was highly doubtful of the whole process before we first met.
And now this will be your 6th session today. what would you tell people who feel like you felt?
Oh my God, just give me a call. I was like, I recommended my sister, and I have a friend that, I mean, it's night and day. And I think I've always been open to the mind being powerful, but I hadn't really understood how you can tap into that and actually rely on that to help guide you. That was not something I was familiar with, but I'm a full convert, and I strongly believe that it's turned my issues around, 180 on all of them.
Good. Well, tell me about the overthinking and the anxiety, which what was your issues to start, and what do you feel like they are now?
So I came in with same thing, probably a 9 or a 10. I am a type A, always going in my head. I'm made fun of in the family because I have this constant hamster wheel. And even when I'm sitting there doing nothing, there's always, I'm running through lists or worrying about tomorrow, or it's a little overwhelming. And that's, it's rare that I shut that down, or I've been able to shut that down. And so that's what I came in as. But now, it's a little, I'm getting more used to it. But after we did the session on that, it was a little bit weird. It's almost like everybody in my head went on vacation, and it was just quiet. And it's night and day, really. And then you've given me some tools with the tapping and some other grounding exercises that when I feel something's starting to like work, I'm starting to work myself up, I'm able to rely on those. But I've had specific incidences, like running into people that always used to really upset me and made me think for days about why they upset me and what I did wrong, et cetera, et cetera. And I've had those occurrences post our work, and there's nothing. I just chat and I go on, and that's it, which is just, it's enough evidence for me that, yeah.
Nice to hear. And a lot of our work has been health work. Have you lost weight during these past 5 weeks that we've been working together?
Yeah, so it's only been 5 weeks, but I've dropped 10 pounds. I think the binging that I was doing, which was, 3 or 4 times a week, was just empty, stupid calories. And I'm now just eating a normal, if not just a small diet, and the weight just continues to drop off. Yeah.
Great. Okay, wonderful. And is there anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, I don't think so. I'm excited about, the new me, which I really think I am extremely changed from before, and just looking forward to working with you in the future. So,
Okay,
yeah.
well, that was a great video testimonial. Thank you so much. And you've helped a lot of people by giving that testimonial.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.